Hi everyone, I'm Yasha, co-founder at FlowHunt, and today we're announcing PyWorkflow, our open source framework for writing durable, long-running business processes as a workflow. So first of all, let's go right into what is PyWorkflow. PyWorkflow is a framework for durable workflow execution. A durable workflow is a long-running workflow that has a step-by-step process of a really complex workflow of a certain business process that you have in your business application or your application logic. There are certain criteria for a durable workflow. It needs to be fault tolerant. There needs to be automatic retries. There should be a concept of a state. So in every step of the workflow, there is a state that is being pulled in and being known of, and the system should be able to horizontally scale, and that's basically what PyWorkflow is all about. PyWorkflow is an event-driven or event source system. It's by default, by nature, distributed, and it has durable executions. Here you see a rough concept of what is the workflow or what is PyWorkflow. So you have your application at the top, then there is a message broker, which you have option to configure different message brokers. There are workers that can horizontally scale and get the job, and then there's a storage that stores the persistent state of a workflow. Some features that PyWorkflow has is sleeping. So you have the option to sleep in the workflow execution, and at the time that the workflow is actually sleeping, the workflow gets suspended and resumed after the sleeping is done. So that means there will be no resource allocation at the time that the job doesn't need a resource allocation. There are also hooks and so on. So I'll go through step by step. So first of all, workflows. This is a quick start of what is a workflow. There is steps that you can see, so you can define different steps that are occurring in the workflow, and with this syntax @ workflow you can specify a workflow. What is neat about this is that imagine you have 10 to 20 workers that are running this workflow. When the workflow starts, the workflow gets, this is the definition of the workflow. But when we go to the runtime, in the runtime execution, the workflow has multiple steps, and the first step can run in any other worker. So it doesn't need to be exactly in the same machine that the workflow is actually running. So let's say in this example, the first step will be, this whole workflow will be initialized in worker 1, and it can be a case that this step will be running in another worker, and that's fine. This is a really intuitive syntax to basically initialize or define your workflows. Then we have sleep in here, and you can specify any kind of date frame of sleeping. And what happens actually under the hood in here is that when first time the workflow is actually running and it reaches here, PyWorkflow automatically basically calculates, okay, I need to basically suspend the workflow in here, and after 1 day the workflow starts resuming. The same happens in here. After resumption, then this is a step, and then it will be done. So this is a rough idea of what is PyWorkflow. It's a Python SDK to make you really think about workflows in a different way, rather than stateless celery tasks or other kind of systems that you're using. Let's actually jump into a quick start on some example in here. So in here I have an example of multiple workflows that I have specified. We'll just go through a basic one. So this is exactly the basic scenario that was defined there. These are the steps that I have in my workflow. So let's say I have a workflow about processing an order. When I get a order processing, I need to validate the order based on the order ID. Then I need to process the payment, and then at the end send the confirmation that the order was processed to the user. So this is a 3-step, really simple workflow. And first I will validate the workflow given the order ID. This is just a simple print, and it will come in here. Then we have business payment. That's another step, and send confirmations. These are just mock implementations of this. Now, let's actually run the whole project and set up the whole project to see how it works. So in here I have a terminal. Let's actually check that terminal. So I'm in my root directory basically of the whole project. You can simply set up the project by using our CLI. In the docs you will find a basically detailed introduction on what is the how do you install the CLI. So in the command line interface section, basically you will find basically how to run the CLI and so on. So let me show you how to set up the PyWorkflow. So I will run PyWorkflow setup. This will set up the project and all the dependencies that you need. In this case, I will use I will create a new workflow. So let's go through the setup process. So ideally, you should create specify a module. So in this case, I will say, okay, I want to specify a module, and let's actually go through the code. So this is the root project, and this is the module that all my workflows are defined. So simply, I just need to go back and specify workflows in here. And I can specify different backend storages that are in here. I will choose SQLite, and I will store and start. So this will start my Docker based on the configurations that I set. If you take a look at the Docker already, we see that there's Redis. So that's a broker that I chose. The backend dashboard and frontend dashboard. Now you can start a worker by simply running PyWorkflow worker run, and this will run a PyWorkflow worker. And you already see in my workflows different workflows that are registered, and you can run the workflows. I already have a workflow running in here, as you can see, and this is the detail that you see in the dashboard. You see a timeline basically of the different steps, and all the different steps with a certain log of everything. So this was a brief overview of what is PyWorkflow. If you're a company that wants to start investing on durable workflows, then just let us know at FlowHunt.